Coffee. Hey, Emmett, what is something that every musician should have? And I don't mean gear, I mean like an attribute. I mean something that's like a character quality. Every musician should have it.
I'd say the ability to listen.
That's good. We've talked about listening before, active listening versus that other thing.
Yeah. I would also say, just to add to that, intentional listening.
Ooh. Emmett McWoods, ladies and gentlemen. That's a really good one. That's a really good one. Let's see, is Jared on the phone? I think he might be on the phone with the customer here. If you were to ask Jared what's the most important thing a musician should have, he'd probably say a beard, right? Anyway, there's Elijah. He's working with somebody right there. He's a good guy. An important attribute. What I'm about to tell you today, well, let me say it this way. It changed my life. And so I want to give you some encouragement that way. I have something really cool to tell you at the end of this video. So stay tuned, but it's an exciting announcement. It's about growth. It's about cool things that are happening. So watch the video all the way through or skip to the end, but something really cool at the end is happening. So we're going to talk about one of the most important things a musician should have. And I'm not going to tell you until I get to the cabin. But as always, I appreciate all of your comments on these videos. You are leading, guiding, and directing the content of Chords and Coffee, one video at a time, with your input and your insight. And hopefully this video will be no different. Something that every musician should have, well, I'm going to tell you. You got to be teachable. You got to be teachable. It's a dangerous place to not be teachable. It's funny. I think I've told this story. In fact, I'm pretty sure I have, but I'll tell it again because we were talking about pedal boards, and I'm sure I just kind of glossed over it really quick, because sometimes I do. But by the way, playing this Duesenberg, I just grabbed it really quick. I am attracted to shiny things. I'm not going to lie. Look at that. Sparkly things, too. That's amazing. I had a moment where I went to a guitar class. It was a master class, and it was primarily on, there was a big emphasis on gear in that class and about how to use it, which I've been doing what I do for a long time. Few decades, and I do not claim to know everything about anything, but I'm pretty confident on things that come to gear and that sort of thing. And anyway, there was a young guy there that told me, PJ, if you're watching this, you're awesome. David, give you a shout out too, both of these guys. And they're in my church, and we were talking about the order of effects. And this is a little thing, but it's just a good example. And they were talking about, running your reverb before your delay. I always ran it the other way around, where delay was after, reverb was after delay. And anyway, long story short, the reason you do that is because your delay is articulate, but your reverb continues to provide the ambient bed of atmosphere that you want to have, and the reason that you have reverb on in the first place, but it doesn't muddy up your delay. And so I didn't, at the time, I was like, well, that's not right. I've always done it the other way around, reverb after delay. Well, I didn't think anything about it. I went home and actually saw Guthrie Trapp on his Instagram and posted a picture of his pedal board, where sure enough, he had reverb before delay. And I was like, dadgum. And so I switched the pedals, and they were right. It sounds way better. And there ain't no going back for me. I mean, it's not wrong to do it the other way, but it just sounds better to me. And it is more concise, articulate, and just, it sounds really good. And so being teachable is a lifelong intention. Emmett made a really good point. Listening with intention is so important, but just being teachable, even, David and PJ were fantastic, when they were telling me about that. But sometimes in life, people present truth to you and it's wrapped up in a package that you may not like the way it's being delivered. Lord, have mercy, am I talking to somebody? And doesn't change the fact that it's still the truth, right? So I'm hoping here on Chords and Coffee, you enjoy the messenger's company as much as you enjoy the message. But today what I wanted to do is give you some things that I've been working on forever in the spirit of being teachable. These are things that I still don't have down yet, but I've been playing these things. Or I'm going to give you one thing that I have been working on forever for sure, and then I'm going to give you something I just started working on, and then we'll see what happens in the middle. At the end of this video, watch the whole thing all the way through, because something's happening here at the end that is really exciting. I'm not going to spoil it, but it's happening. So, with that being said, here it comes. All right, this first thing. This is just a little exercise. Playing through the car Impala again, by the way. I just thought I did it the other day. I really liked it. There it is. It's a cool amp. This is a arpeggio. And why do you want to learn this? Well, I'm going to tell you. This will help your right hand. If you've been playing and you feel like your right hand gets stiff, or when you're picking, you're just not as tight, it's not as clean, it's a little sloppy, okay? If you're going to be honest with you. Okay, here, I'm going to be honest with you. My right hand, my rhythm throughout the course of my guitar playing life thus far has been the greatest opportunity for improvement in my playing, has been my right hand, right? Ask any drummer that I've played with. My brother Josh, if you're watching this, God bless you. I can just see you sitting there shrugging, going, those are triplets! Anyway, right? I mean, it's been an issue for me. And so this thing has helped me out a lot just to be able to get my down, up, down, up, down, up. So I'm going to give it to you. Sorry I'm talking so much. I'm just excited. All right, here we go. So index finger, 7th fret, low E, right? Middle finger, it's going to be on the 9th fret of the A. I know right now you're getting nervous. You're like, this seems like a stretchy exercise, Nate. It is a little bit, but again, thumb placement. So index finger. And we're going to put that down, and then we're going to take that off that's on the 7th fret of the low E. When we put our middle finger on the 9th fret of the A, that index comes off, and the pinky hits the 11th fret of the D. And then on this hand, we're going down, up, down, down, up, down. Are you with me so far? And then this is the next move. And this is a really interesting thing, because you're picking down, up, down, up, down, up, but you're pivoting from your pinky to your index finger on the 8th fret of the G. So that much again. Index finger on the 7th fret of the low E, middle finger on the 9th fret of the A, pinky on the 11th fret of the D, and then index on the 8th fret of the G. It's an arpeggio, which is a chord one note at a time, and this is a B add 9. We're adding the 9th, which is the C sharp, to a B. Well, Nate, I don't ever intend to play a B add 9 chord. Well, you never know, it'll come up. But also, this thing's movable, okay? So, and then from this point, pinky on the 11th fret of the G string, and then take it off, leave your index planted where it was, and then pinky on the 11th fret of the D, and then index finger on the 9th fret of the D. I lied to you. It's not index finger, it's middle finger. So, let me come back to this point. Index finger. See, I'm still working on it. Index finger on the low E, 7th fret. Middle on the A, 9th fret. Pinky, 11th fret of the D. Index, G string, 8th fret. Pinky, 11th fret of the same string, G string. Back to the index finger on the G, 8th fret. Pinky on the 11th fret of the D. And then middle on the 9th fret of the D. Okay, so that's shape number 1. You got that? You like this so far? When in the world will I use this? You'd be surprised how much you use this. This little arpeggio comes up. If you've been paying attention to the Chords and Coffee stuff, if I'm playing a B, well, right, just whip through that real quick. If I'm playing a G sharp, I can whip through that too. The bass is playing G sharp and I'm playing that. B major is the relative major to G sharp minor. G sharp minor, B major, holding hands, relatives, right? And also there's other applications too. We've talked about, polychords, chords on top of chords. I've got a buzzy cable. It's real. All right, so now we're going to go to the next shape, and we only have 2 shapes. Is the next shape, right? And so index finger on the 7th fret of the A, middle finger on the 9th fret of the D, pinky on the 11th fret. Pinky on the 11th fret of the G, and then had to break it down real quick for myself. And then index finger on the 9th fret of the B, like that, and then pinky on the 12th fret of the B, and then index finger on the 9th fret of the B, and then pinky on the 11th fret of the G, and then back to middle on the 9th fret of the G. One way you can tell that I don't have this down great, other than listening, is that I can do it pretty good in one specific tempo. This is a really raw Chords and Coffee, because I am showing you something that the God's honest truth is I should be better at this by now. Anybody out there feel that? You've been playing guitar for a while. You have something that you've been working on, and you go, shouldn't I be better at this by now? Should you? I don't know. I mean, what's the goal here? Is the goal here to master any and all exercises and feats of dexterity and musical ergonomic devices that are put before you? Is the goal to master all of those things? Or is the goal to make music that expresses something better than words can, that comes from within you? Is the goal to create harmony and to make good music with other folks and cultivate relationships and write some really cool tunes and have fun and drink coffee on a Saturday morning with a dude in a denim shirt in front of a fireplace because we're getting that one done? But what's the goal? I'm here to encourage you a little bit, friends. Quit beating yourself up for all the things that you can't play. Well, Nate, I can't play nothing good. Well, keep going. Because getting better at guitar, I mean, it is a levee that has to break, but it just doesn't do it in phases. Or I shouldn't say that. It does kind of a little bit, but it just doesn't do it all at once the way that you want it to. It just does it over time, and then you'll be surprised at the thing that will break you through. But you will have a breakthrough. All right, moving on. Let's do this thing again. So, and then when you get to this point, you just start moving this thing up and down the neck. But first things first, I would just say, let's just get this bad boy down. So you got this. And here's the thing, is that this is such a string spacing activity to do. What am I talking about? It's just such a precision activity. When you pick up a guitar, if it's different than the one that you're used to playing, you'll feel it. But that's okay. I mean, I am putting this on here because I want to show you. I mean, I've messed up plenty on these, but I want to show you something that I've been working on for a long time that I still don't have down, and I'm working on it slowly, and I'm not beating myself up about it. So there's that. If you get this down, I would love to see it would honestly, it would bless me. It would really, and I would like, I mean, if there's a 10-year-old kid out there that ends up just shredding through this, and I'm sure there is, post a video, hashtag Chords and Coffee, and say, got it, Nate, love you. You know, that would be great. But I would also love to know what are some things that you've been working on that maybe I can help you with, right? Who knows? That's why we're here. All right, so that's that first one there. And then you just move down to the A, and it's all the same intervals. I will write this out for you if you want. Email me, Nate White, NATEWHITE, at palenmusic.com, and I will write that exercise out for you, and then you'll see it, and you can work on it too. And there you go. What's something else? I'll tell you this. Here is a new kind of thing I've been doing. Let's see. This is moving up in fifths. It's just a fun little thing, and it's sort of built off the same kind of exercise in a way it's similar to that, where you've got this spacing. So let's just do it in A. Index finger on the 5th fret of the low E, middle finger on the 7th fret of the A string. And this is a little bit different because instead of just doing this and then moving horizontally this way, I'm actually moving up. And so the first move is 5-7 on that low E and then A, and then my index finger actually has to switch with my middle finger and hit the 7th fret. Wait, that's not right. Index, middle, pinky. That's it. Index, middle, pinky, and while my pinky is on the 9th fret of the D, then my index finger hits the A string of the 7th fret. And then my middle finger comes on the 9th fret, and then pinky on the 11th fret. And so like when the pinky is down, the index is coming to shift to that next fret up. And it's a kind of a fun sort of little jazzy angular lick. So when you get up to here, then while your pinky's here, then index finger hits the D string of the 9th fret, middle finger, 11th fret of the G, and then ring finger is on the 12th fret of the B. And then while your ring finger's on the 12th fret of the B, the index finger comes on to the 11th fret of the G, and then middle finger, 12th fret of the B, and then pinky is on the 14th fret of the high E. And that's also movable. You can move that up and down the neck all over the place, right? Been working on that. Well, what good is that, Nate? That's kind of weird sounding. Every now and then you need a little something weird to wedge into the old tonal recipe that you're stirring up. It's kind of fun. Because it's all fifths from each other. Each note is related to the other one a fifth away. As you're moving up that, it's very I don't know. It's sort of fusiony over the right chord context, but it also just has a kind of an interesting sound to it that just sort of cleanses the palate, if you will. It's like having turmeric tea every now and then. It's like, what was that? I didn't hate it. I don't even know if I liked it. It's like that. All right, so something else. Someone asked me, I'm showing you stuff I'm working on. I'm trying to demonstrate myself being teachable. These are things that I don't have down yet. These are things that I have learned from somewhere else. The first thing I showed you, I learned from a great guitar player named Rolla Scott. Rolla, if you're watching this, please comment below. I wonder, where in the world are you? Awesome guitar player. And he showed me that when I was a kid. I was like 16 years old. And at the time, I could barely do it. And it's been something that I've worked on a little bit here and there. And I just thought, it's a cool exercise. It's a great warm-up exercise, too. Just to, after you've gotten your fingers acclimated, then you start playing that kind of stuff. It gets your, I don't know, it gets my brain and my heart connected and my hands, listening to that connection. Something else that I like to do is I like to take a song that I like and start to figure out like a solo arrangement of it. So there's a old Keith Green song. I've been listening to him more lately. It's called Your Love Broke Through, and the chorus has this. That little melody, that's on an A chord, and I'm sliding that. That's a cool little move there when you take an A chord and you slide from the 4th fret of the G, and I'm sliding from, so I'm going 4th fret to 6th fret, 6, 6, 4, and then back to A, and then the melody goes from the longest tree, and then walking this D chord down. You should always have something you're working on. You should always have, after you've been playing for a while, you should have some things that you just play for fun. And then there should be when I say something you're working on, like a song or some kind of little musical nugget. And then I think there should be things you're just practicing, that are like scalar or chord sequences or things that are you're just trying to get better in your hands. And so, if anything, this video hopefully is an encouragement. If you want any of that I played written out, send me an email, natewhite@palenmusic.com, and I'll do my best to get you exactly what I did. If you have questions about any of that, I'm here for you. I appreciate your comments. Now, we're to the end of the video, and I want to show you this thing that we're really excited about. So here it comes. We'll see y'all next week. Hey everybody, it's Nate coming to you from Palen Music here in Kansas City, and I'm really excited to introduce you to my good buddy Dustin. Dustin has created this show called What's This Button Do? And I gotta tell you, we are super stoked to offer this for you. It is an amazing show about gear, about guitars, about recording, and about being a dad and doing all those things simultaneous. So I want to introduce you to Dustin. Here he comes. Okay, so how did we get there to that? The reason I say that is that I
Just talk about how you first met.
Yeah.
Well, and actually, how we first met is kind of part of it too. So I don't know if you remember this, but I came into Columbia, and it was the first time in the store, and I was walking around, and I looked at, there's all the normal stuff on there, and I asked, I can't remember who was in the front. Somebody was in the front. You weren't out there yet, and somebody was like, all right, I went up there and I was like, do you guys have anything like weird? It's like, I'm kind of into like weirder, different stuff, and she's like, well, I don't know. Let me go ask Nate. And they went in the back, and you came out. We started talking a little bit. I was like, yeah, I'm not into like the normal store bought stuff. I like finding like weird used things and these things. And somebody had traded in. I think it was a Super. It was an old amp. Somebody had traded in. It was killer. It sounded amazing. It was an old Fender, but I can't remember if it was a Super or if it was a Tremolux.
What would it look like?
It was a tweed. It definitely had a tweed wrap on it. Old beat up. It was. I mean, you could tell it had been.
Was it a Gibson?
Oh no! You know what? It might have been a Gibson. It might not have been a Fender. I think it was a Gibson.
Yes.
It was like a Gibson tweed, really obscure.
Okay, and so here's what's funny about that story.
Yeah.
That was I gotta Google that. So that was a Gibson. So that amp came from a guy who was a tattoo artist way up in northern Missouri, and he used to Jerry would first of all, he was a great artist,
right?
And he actually he did a back of an old Gibson B25.
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 Yeah.
It's like a little parlor guitar. And
Yeah.
he did the back of it, and Alec ended up buying that. And,
No way!
And I mean, I didn't take enough pictures of that guitar. It was amazing. But anyway, here's what's funny about that story. That old Gibson amp. I'm Googling it because I'm stalling here because I want to have the name of that thing. Fast forward, so you played it, and it sounded amazing. And it had a round top to it, and it had it was a G8, I think. I just saw a picture of it here. No? It was something like that. Anyway, so fast forward, it ends up in Springfield because we're going to sell it online.
Right.
And Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top.
No freaking way! Was that when he came to town?
Yeah, he came into town, and I was showing him around, and I was nervous, and all day long, Quinn was like, man, Billy Gibbons might come in today. And then he'd come in an hour later, but he's not coming. And then he'd leave and come in an hour after that and go, he might still come. And then he'd come back and go, definitely not coming. And like all day long, it was like, like, you know, and so finally, like literally, like 5 minutes before he comes walking up the way up there, the little sidewalk to the store in Springfield, Quinn goes, he's coming, he's here. I'm like, and so here comes Billy Gibbons. And sweetest man.
That's what Kyle said.
Sweetest man ever. And I was like, well, man, you know, we were looking at stuff, and he ended up buying a Friedman Golden Pearl from me.
Nice.
And so I sold Billy Gibbons a pedal. No big. And then he ended up getting like some other like sundries, you know. And then I said, well, man, let me show you around. And so I showed him around to the store, went back to the back, and there was that old Gibson Tweed amp. And he spotted that thing from like 30 feet away. He's like looking at it and goes, whoa, is that an old Gibson GA, wherever it was? And I was like, yeah. He goes, does it work? And I went, nope. He went, dang. And anyway, but that's how we met.
That is
over
brilliant.
gear.
It was that, and I was on the hunt for. It was before I had my Les Paul Junior.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to find an old Les Paul Junior, and I didn't even care about the guitar. I wanted a pickup out of an old Les Paul Junior, and you had a lead on one that we couldn't get. Like,
I remember that too.
Yep.
I remember that. That was, I believe, it was a guy named Tim, except it was a 3/4 size.
Yep.
58.
It was a short scale.
Which I don't know if you know that exists.
Yep.
Anyway, so we met. Music brings us together in a music store, and here we are. So, hey folks, this is Nate. This is Dustin. Dustin has a new show that we're going to be bringing to you, and we're really proud to partner with you on this. It's called
What's This Button Do?
Just like the shirt says, right? And so there was a little even thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's perfect.
So to that end, I've seen a couple of the episodes, and I want to tell you, I have learned so much from you. Like, I've been playing guitar for 30 years, and I don't claim to know everything about anything, okay? However, I will tell you, I have some confidence in the realm of all things guitar, you know, the guitar culture and all that stuff. And, you know, we talk about a lot of stuff, but you have told me so much about, like, not just pedals, but, like, signal chain and about, like, all of the, because I'm a little, like, technology adverse on some things. I'm a tube amp guy. I'm a dinosaur staring at the comet coming that has an AR attached to it, or an IR. Sorry, I didn't say it right. It's got an AR and an IR. Exactly, yeah. But, you know, watching you talk about, you know, IRs and all the software and all the recording stuff, but also some of the nitty gritty, especially like in the realm of EQ, which is kind of a pretty straight ahead topic. It's just been so like, I feel like not only have I learned something, but I feel like the way that you're approaching it is super accessible, and it's just a couple dudes hanging.
Thank you so much. Like, I feel the same way about Chords and Coffee. I'm the same way from like your aspect. When I watch Chords and Coffee, I'm learning so much about theory because I never took music classes when I was a kid. We couldn't afford it like when we were growing up, and I didn't really start playing guitar until I was about 17, and I played bass in a band. And I always hated being the guy in the back to sit there going like 4 chords, just back and forth, because I didn't know anything about bass. I self-taught and everything. So I fell in love with guitar and kept going, but I never got to learn music theory. So like watching Chords and Coffee has been just a huge godsend, being able to go, oh, that's why.
That's awesome.
I know that shape sounds good. I don't know why. And now like I've learned so much through that. It's just been amazing. But I'm a geek for pedals and effects, and I just absolutely love that kind of stuff. But I've also got a little bit of that old tube amp guy I still can't do a solid state amp. I still love the sound of a good tube. Like,
yeah, but what's interesting about the time we're living in now is that, you know, you think like Sgt. Pepper's. That's the Beatles, kids, for some of you watching. That was recorded on a 4-track. Right. And now you can come in and you can buy a pretty great recording setup and literally go home and plug it in and just get after it with very little knowledge.
yes.
And also, you could start making music pretty quick, and the learning curve to get inside of that world has dropped so low. It's like it's easy. I mean, you're in a garage band.
That's
You know,
right.
you can get an interface and away you go. But what's interesting is that there's a lot of things that if you don't have someone who has gone before you to kind of help you, you're going to have to find out the hard way, and that's anything in life.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and to that end, I love that about what you're doing on What's This Button Do, because it's not just about, it's a lot about pedals, and I love that, and amps and everything else, and guitars, but there's also there's a healthy dose of the home recording side of it, as well as just like, you know, people getting in, like I said, people getting into the IR thing for the first time.
Yeah.
You know, getting into that whole amp modeling thing. You know, I watched that and I was like, I feel less timid about that now. So
I think that's the most important thing, especially like growing up, is you could never turn an amp up loud. And like when I moved into an apartment the first time and I tried to be a guitarist, I was like, no one's going to let you turn an amp up above 1 or you're going to get complaints around you. So I always dreamed, man, wouldn't it be cool if there was a way to do stuff in your house and make noise? And then when I became a dad, same thing.
Yep.
Your kids go to bed, you're like, oh,
right.
Lord, I can't do anything. I can't. So if you can find a way to still be able to record, to have fun, and have a family, like that's a huge thing. And so that's really what it's about. And I'm trying to get like Aria, my daughter, involved more with the show too. Like I want to have her come down because I love recording music with my kids. Like that's just some of the most fun things to just let them play with it and have fun. And especially with pedals, that's what intrigues me about pedals is years ago, I don't think I've ever told you this story before, years ago I broke my hand. And this is 10, 15 years ago. Shattered my knuckles. And was in a cast, couldn't play guitar anymore. And it was, I think it was about 2 years before I could play guitar. And during that time, like I lost it. I had no chops. I had not, anything I had learned. I was not even a great guitarist to begin with, but after that it was so hard to come back. And I knew all the power chords and everything, and I started playing again. But what I found, that's when I fell in love with effects, is just I could take an effects pedal and get like a really nice delay and a really nice reverb. And that would help me compensate for some of that. Like maybe I could play a power chord, but then use some of those effects to enhance that. It's still garbage in, garbage out. You still got to know what you're playing. You got to play the right notes, but you don't have to be able to play like John Petrucci or any of these amazing virtuosos to still make a good recording that sounds beautiful. You can really use effects pedals to accent that. And that's just where I grew passionate about those and seeing what kind of sounds I could make out of them.
I love that, and you guys are going to love it too. It's going to be a weekly show. What's This Button Do? Be looking for it. In fact, right now, if you're watching this, you can go on the Palen Music YouTube channel. You can find it. You can binge watch the first 2 episodes. What's This Button Do? Check it out.
Well, hope to see you soon.